Who am I? I am really lucky as a person because I have about the widest and most diverse heritage that you could imagine. I'm a descendant of both the Mongolian conqueror Genghis Khan and Greek conqueror Alexander the Great, and my ancestors were the Rajas and Rajput leaders of subcontinental India. My great great grandfather on my dad's side was one of the first Indians, a Sikh, to travel on boat to Australia in the 1890s. My dad grew up in Australia and lived there for the first 30 odd years of his life. He grew up in a small house in a working class family, my parental grandfather running a local convenience store. My mother grew up in Faisalabad in Pakistan, and her side of the family is very different. A wide web of relatives across the world and a strong, proud family which has branched out to Europe and America from Asia and achieved success everywhere. My parents met in Oslo and they moved to Manhattan, New York. I was born on the 23rd of March 2006 in New York Presbyterian Hospital, the sum of all the hundreds of generations before me. I lived in New York for 2 years, but I only have two memories of my time there: learning to crawl by chasing a toy train across the apartment we lived in, and chipping my tooth on the balcony. One of the best ways to explain who I am is to explain who I look up to, who I hope to be like. Unlike most, my role model is someone who I've met, someone who I knew. My maternal grandfather's compassion, character, and personality inspires me and shows me the kind of person I want to be. In university, my grandfather divided his life into three parts: military service, a career in business, and then a career in politics. And that is what he did. First, he had a successful career in military as a captain, and then he pursued business, where he was first successful in Saudi Arabia, and then in Pakistan he founded a company that branched out into several industries. Then in politics, he won a seat in the provincial assembly, and then in 2013, this is the first major milestone I remember, he won a seat in Pakistan's National Assembly, representing a constituency with over 800,000 people. In 2017, he became Pakistan's finance minister, equivalent to the Chancellor of the Exchequer here, or the Treasury Secretary in the US. He was born into nothing, yet when he died, he was one of the most revered, loved, and respected men in his country. But that's not why he was my hero. He's my hero because despite all of that, he stayed true to himself. He was honest, he was kind, he was compassionate, he was hardworking, and he loved his family more than anything else. I loved his warm personality and talking to him about everything. He was such a fun soul. Even when he was incredibly busy in politics, sleeping 2 hours a night and rushing from place to place, he made time for me. He answered my emails, and whenever we went to visit him, he would pick us up at the airport himself. I hope I can be like that, so ready to help out family. And just as his life inspired me and gave me hope, his death, when he was still so full of energy and there was so much left for him to do, hurt me more than anything in my life. I miss him every day, but one day I hope to be like who he was and to live up to his legacy. That is the kind of person I want to be. 2 years ago, I took a personality test, and I've just retaken it to get the same result. I am the ENTJ personality type, the commander or the chief. The internet says ENTJs are natural, decisive leaders, hardworking, living in the world of ideas, and with great speaking and debating ability. They're goal-oriented, take charge in group activities, are self-confident, and thrive on achievement. I knew most of the strengths and weaknesses of this personality type through my own successes and failures, but it is great to know that I have the same personality type as some of my heroes: Franklin D. Roosevelt, Bill Gates, Margaret Thatcher, Steve Jobs, and some of my favorite fictional characters, Lex Luthor and Emperor Palpatine. In practical life, I definitely make use of the strengths of this personality type, but I've definitely felt its weaknesses too. I can be angry, impulsive, and sometimes slow to trust people. I think that this personality type is really going to help me be successful in life, and I think it's the best one looking at all the others. But I hope I can overcome the weaknesses it has. The best personality I've known was my grandfather, who not only was ambitious, hardworking, and a great speaker, but through it all was humble and positive. Public speaking is probably my most valuable asset. The first public speech I made was when I was 7. I don't remember what I said. All I remember was my grandfather's smile, how proud he was from the front row seat. The confidence that I got from that experience gave me the confidence to do every public speech since then. From talking at one of the schools my grandmother worked with when I was the same age, to in 2015 when I spoke in front of the local Fox TV station and World War II veterans in San Diego as the youth ambassador to the 2015 World Peace and Humanity Day. That event commemorated the 70th anniversary of the dropping of the second and last nuclear weapon in conflict, the bomb that leveled Nagasaki. And I spoke about the new generation of leaders who did not know conflict or war and who had hope, not fear. The generation of Malala and the generation that will have to solve the problems created by generations past. It was an incredible experience. 2 days later, I spoke for longer at the Coronado City Congressional Chamber on the same topic, and I'm really lucky to have had that opportunity. The next great speaking experience I had was in 2019 in the Junior School House debating. The motion was "This House believes we should talk less and do rather more," and I gave the best speech I had ever done on issues with school debating, Brexit, parliamentary gridlock, climate change, and the overarching theme of talking and debating as a means of procrastination and avoiding confronting the issue. It was the most fun I've ever had at school. Finally, the last speech that I made outside of school was in October, where I spoke to a graduating class of the Summit College in Pakistan about the importance of working hard in education and in life, and always having a goal and a vision. I felt really privileged to be speaking to these people, but I felt a bit odd telling them, who are older than me, about life. I still have a lot to learn. My grandfather was such a powerful speaker, but I remember him for more than his political speeches. Every birthday, New Year, or anniversary, he would give a speech to the family, not on his business successes or his political triumphs, but his real successes and what he thought was the most important thing, his family. He was so proud of his 4 kids, and he was so kind and loving to his grandkids. And as the eldest, I feel a responsibility to lead that generation of my family in the way that my ancestors led theirs and my grandfather led his. I hope to use public speaking to further my goals, inspire people, and make a difference. Ever since I was very young, I've loved painting, drawing, building, and creating. I'm a creative person, and I think some of that comes from my mother. I love to play the piano and compose short pieces of music. However, I don't really enjoy the technical aspects of music, scales, theory, nearly as much as I enjoy the technical aspects of DT and art. Regularly since 2016, I would sit in my room for hours, a full day even, and emerge with a giant, complete piece of artwork. I also love to share what I create. From 2016 to 2018, I ran a small YouTube channel where I would make time-lapse videos of me drawing or painting, and I gained almost 150 subscribers in that time. Now, I have a website where I put all the art I do, as well as articles, blogs, and speeches. I consider that to be creative as well. My favorite thing to do is to design buildings or inventions and make blueprints and designs of them. Recently, I've been able to use a 3D printer I got for my birthday to make some of these inventions real, and it's been incredibly rewarding. Being creative, enjoying engineering, and having a passion for history, politics, and current events, and speaking. It's not a common combination, but I think I can use it to my advantage in life. I hope to study engineering in university in America, which is where I'll move, afterwards studying economics and business and trying to combine these passions in a valuable way. In my opinion, the meaning of life is to be as fulfilled as you can be. Not happy, because that's short term, but fulfilled. And everyone is fulfilled differently. Some by working really hard, some by having a balanced life, some by helping others, some by spending their time with their family. For me, fulfillment is about making a positive difference, and therefore I want to make as big a difference on the human race as I possibly can. I've already mapped out my life. Who knows how it will turn out, but my grandfather made a plan when he was young and achieved all of it. First, I know that I want to be an entrepreneur and start a great technology company, several if I can. I'll become well known and successful through that, but mostly I want to do that because I want to contribute to advancing human progress and invention and pushing human innovation forward. I also want to run a philanthropic organization in a way similar to the Gates Foundation, so I can help the world be rid of conflict and disease. I want to start a company in the space field, like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos has, helping propel the human race forward and into a multiplanetary future. And when the time comes where I have no more to offer the world in business, I want to follow in my grandfather's footsteps and make a real difference in the lives of others through politics, but in the United States. I know there's a lot left to be done in terms of work towards all these goals, and that with every ambitious goal comes the potential of failure, but I'll stay true to my ideals, and I hope to be humble and honest and compassionate no matter what. So when I answer the question, who am I say this: I'm creative, I'm a designer and builder, I'm a speaker, a writer, a reader, a learner, and a dreamer. I have ambitious goals, but I have the confidence to try and see them through. I'm a commander, the descendants of great leaders and perseverant travelers, but I am far from perfect. I have faults, and I've made mistakes. There's a lot left for me to learn, but I have a North Star, and I always know whose example I'm trying to follow.